Hey guys, Aaron here with another fountain pen review, and today I'm pretty excited about reviewing this pen. Give you a little just quick backstory. I actually found the auction for this pen on eBay um, probably about 6 or 7 weeks ago. It may have even been a little bit longer. And when I first found it, I was really excited. And of course, all the pens were sold out. And it was literally the only auction I could find at the time for this particular pen or series of pens. And so I contacted the seller. I was like, hey, are you going to by any chance be restocked? Because I know sometimes on these Chinese pens, it's hit or miss. And they said, yes, we will be restocking them. And luckily, they let me know when they restocked, and I immediately bought one of these pens. Now, since then, there are a lot more of them that are available to purchase. Um, as you can tell, it is a Delike fountain pen, and this is our cardboard or paper outer sleeve, and you take that off, and I'm sure most of you know what you're looking at now. So this is a Delike Alpha, which is obviously mimics the Kaweco Sport. And this, I know Delike Alphas have been out for quite a while, and most of them are in metal materials such as brass or aluminum. And I'm not just a huge fan of metal pens. There's been a lot of other Chinese pens that I was much more interested in. And when I saw this, I just couldn't pass up. I love the design of the fountain pen, and that really turned me on to it. And the material makes it that much better. So now I know you guys want to see the pen, so I'm going to reveal the pen now. Get this off, and there you see it. So this is the Delike. Now, in the auctions, it does state Delike resin. Obviously, it is the Alpha pen. And so this pen here, it came with an extra fine bent nib. I did pay $33.90. That was free shipping. Now, they are available on eBay at a much more economical price. So right now, they're in the range of about $25. So at the time when I purchased this, it was like one of, if not the only auction that was available for these pens. And I think most of what was on that auction is already sold out, and they're going very fast. So if this is a pen that you've already seen online, I mean, at the end of this review, if you like it, go get one, because they're at some point probably not going to be available much longer. Now, it comes in 4 different colors. There's a purple color. There's a green color. The purple one to me kind of looks like a dark blue. It's a very dark color, but it has some interesting designs in the resin. There is a green one that's really kind of mimics this type of material, but more of a forest green. There is a yellow one, which to me actually looks more like a caramel color, kind of like my LIY fountain pen that I reviewed. It's more of like a caramel type color, a copper. And then there's this one, which is the crystal blue color. As I said before, there are other auctions out there that are around $25, and you have the option of getting different nibs as well. So there's like a medium nib, there's an extra fine, and then I think that the bent nib as well, which is an extra fine bent nib. Taking the pen out, kind of looking it over. Now, it comes obviously with this clip. I'm going to start at the top first. This clip is fully removable, so you can take this clip off. It just slides right off. Now, I'm not going to totally take it off, but you can see it moves there. So you can't take it off if you wanted to, if you just wanted to just have the pen itself. As you can tell, this is not a completely rounded pen. So if this is a clip that you want to take off, this is not a pen that's going to roll off your desk. Looking at the top of the cap finial, you'll notice it's kind of cone shaped. So it's got point there, and it actually has kind of a step down a little bit from the actual cap itself to the finial. I like kind of the shape of the top there. It looks, different, and I think it looks kind of nice. This is somewhat transparent as well. As you can tell, you can see through the material, which I think is, again, a nice look. I really, really like this material. It has some depth to it. I wouldn't say that it has really a lot of chatoyancy necessarily, but there is just some really, really interesting designs on here. Now, moving down towards the barrel, you'll notice obviously you have a step down, and then moving down the barrel, you have another step down to the end of the barrel. And again, we're just rounded over here, not really a cone shape, just completely rounded. So kind of give you a close up on that. And again, you can see some of that translucent material. Just really give you guys a chance to see how gorgeous this material is. I was just really just thrown back by how cool this pen was. Taking off the cap, it takes a little over 1.5 turns, and it reveals that section in threads. The threads are not really, they're pretty shallow. There is, if you can tell, there is a slight step down to the actual section itself. I will say you can feel that. This is not obviously a very big section. You can kind of feel this step down. It really doesn't bother me. I haven't used this pen for prolonged writing periods though yet, so it could be something that could be a little bit bothersome. The section itself flares down just slightly and then flares back out at the end. So kind of an hourglass section. And then you see that nib. And the nib, you see the little bit of scroll work. It says Delike Super Quality EF. And as you can tell, it is a bent nib. There you see your plastic feed. And then I have not taken this nib out. It should be like all the other Delike nibs, however. Now, taking off the barrel, cool thing is there is no metal here or inside of the barrel. So this should be a pen that if you wanted to, that you could eyedropper. So if you wanted to eyedropper the pen, you definitely could do so. One thing I really like about this, unlike its Quebeco counterpart, is you've got this really nice converter here. So you've got your upgraded Delike converter that to me kind of mimics a platinum type converter. And this one works very well. I flushed out the pen, the converter, and everything before I inked it up, and it inked up really nice on the first fill. So that's the pen. Now showing it as far as posted, it posts obviously deeply, and you kind of feel, you don't really hear it, but you feel it kind of snap into place. So as you notice, the end of that barrel, it has that step down. So it really fits in, I think, back here into probably the cap liner. It fits in very well. So it posts very securely, and it makes the pen much longer. Now, if you're interested in the dimensions of the pen, it is a whopping 4.5 inches cap, so very small. It is 4 1/3 inches uncapped. And then 5 3/4 inches posted. So it does get much longer when you post the pen. Now for a sizing comparison, we've got our Delike Alpha there. I'm going to keep it usual right now. We have our Pilot Metropolitan, which you can tell is a lot bigger. And then you've got your Lamy Safari there. So obviously this is a quintessential pocket pen, as all of you know. Real quick, we are going to show them off now posted. All right, there you are, guys, posted. And although it's still the shortest of the three, it is a much more usable writing experience. To me, if I'm doing quick notes, this is a pen that does not have to be posted. But if I'm doing a prolonged writing session, this is a pen that I would probably definitely post. But it definitely makes up a lot of length once you post the pen, comparatively speaking. All right, so talking about the pen itself before we start the writing session. So, some things that I really like about the pen. I love the material. The material is gorgeous. I love the fact that it comes with a converter, but you can eyedropper the pen. This is a pen that will be great to fit in a shirt pocket, obviously. It's a perfect size. And I'm usually not a big, I really don't usually care about pen packaging, but I do like this, and this is kind of cool. So again, not a usually packaging generally gets thrown in a container and stored away, and I don't usually bring it back out unless maybe I'm doing a pen review. So, but I do like this, and I will probably use this aluminum can or for something, right? So I love the material. Everything about the pen is awesome. There's just one slight issue with the pen for me. And it was an easy fix, but I did ink up this pen and go ahead and write with it before I did the review. And the nib was very scratchy. It gave a lot of feedback, and it wasn't a very pleasurable feedback. So I did, however, and I do want to say I've used other Delike nibs, obviously, that are the bent nibs, and this one was the first one that gave me that kind of feedback. The other ones I didn't really have any issues with. I know obviously I could swap out the nib. I could even order some replacement Delike nibs. All I did was I ran it on some micro mesh for probably a couple times, and the pen writes 1,000 times better and is much smoother and gives a lot less feedback. So that is my one issue with the pen. So that could steer someone from not wanting to purchase it. But for me, if you're somebody that's fine with tinkering with the pens and has some micro mesh available, just know that might be something that you might deal with. But the overall design of the pen, as far as the material and everything that you get with it, you get a converter, you get a cool case, and the material is just striking and gorgeous. And it's lightweight. It's very lightweight. I think it's a good pen. It's not super skinny, but it's not obviously girthy. So I think it's definitely a pen I could use for long writing sessions. I think it's a good pen. And the nib performs much better after I ran it through the micro mesh. So up next, guys, I am going to do the writing sample, and then we will wrap it up from there. All right, we are back. I got everything set up. All right, you kind of heard that snap a little bit in place. So as I said before, this is the Delike. And I'm going to put resin because that's what the auctions, at least most of the ones I've seen, actually state, Delike resin. And this is with a extra fine bent nib. And as you can tell, the nib is so much smoother now. And the ink I'm using is Noodler's Blue. It's one of my favorite blue inks. This and probably the Iroshizuku Konpeki. This was one of my first blue inks I bought. I've almost emptied out the bottle. It's an ink I still use a lot in a lot of my pens, and I do enjoy this ink a lot. It's a really, really dark blue. All right. All right. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So as you can see, the pen, it writes well. this is not a pen that you're going to get, with the bent nib. You can play around different positions and get, different line widths. I'm sorry, I can't talk right now. So, reverse writing, it is a pen that you can do reverse writing, but then it just becomes like really, really scratchy. This wasn't the best Delike nib I've used, but like I said, with a little bit of work with micro mesh, it works much better. It's a pen, for fast writing. You can do it. It gets a little bit scratchier. So if you're somebody that writes really, really fast, I am not that person. It will give you a little bit more feedback. But I don't think it's a total reason to condemn the pen, because the ink flow is great. The converter works great. So the nib and feed work well. It's just the nib was a little bit scratchy. And with, like I said, probably 2 minutes of work, I got the nib to work, pretty good. So really, guys, that concludes the review. I am, for comparison, I am going to probably be reviewing a Kaweco Sport here, maybe my next review, and then I may do a comparison video with this pen and the other pen, just to compare the two. And as I said before, I've checked several of the auctions and the pens have been flying. So for me, I'm very tempted to go back on there, because I really like the yellow color, or the caramel is what I call it. I'm very tempted to go back on there and get another one. So if you guys are partially interested in this pen or not so sure, I would go get one, because they're going to be gone, and who knows if they're going to restock them. So I like this pen. I never really was crazy about the aluminum or the metal versions. This one, I think, is a very attractive pen, and the materials are awesome. So I do not regret the purchase at all. Even at $33, I still don't regret the purchase. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, definitely please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. If you've got one of these already and you've got a Kaweco Sport, tell me your opinions between the two different pens. I know that it's kind of hard to compare this pen to a German-made pen, but I think it's always interesting when you have a pen that mimics another to compare them. To me, there's not really much of a difference, obviously, in pricing, so why not compare them? Again, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys again later this week with another pen review. Bye-bye.